So I don't know if you can see that. I'm gonna try to zoom in. But there's a school of smallmouth bass. They're small, they're only like 4 inches long. They're really hard to see. And they're kind of secretive, but there's about 6 or 8 of them in there. Seem to have gone and shuffled off somewhere. They're over there getting bugs at the surface of the water. I'm sure like owning my own little personal paradise. Alright, the bass have moved off. I probably scared them. Oh, spring is almost here. Yeah, I sure do like sitting by the stream. Trying to clean up all the brambles so there's little inlets and such. It's a lot of work. There's that little guy. Surprised they're out in the field. They're really tiny. There's another one. That might be a spring beauty. Really weird. This is the next big project right here. I suspect I'm going to just grab this with the excavator and pull it out and burn it. I've dealt with worse. This area's not so bad, and you need some work, but it's not so bad. I've got half a day in here. My nemesis. Nemesis? I'm kidding, of course. That's a line from Mystery Men. See the stream flowing back through there. This needs to be thinned. And there's a couple vines in there, but not too much. Let's sneak back in there a little bit. Definitely needs to be thinned. Watch your head for sawtooth briar. It's got me on the back. See some fish over there jumping. Why do I feel like skinny dipping? Kidding, I wouldn't skinny dip. I'd take a bath. Well, I suppose that would be skinny dipping, wouldn't it now? Oh, those fish are really tiny, actually. They're guppies. And you can let's knock that rock back into the water. Let's see here. These things I hate. These are like a, I don't know, blackberry or black raspberry or something. I mean, look at these things. So many thorns. They just get you anywhere, and they're just nasty. Nemesis. Yeah, this is an area I'd like to tackle. I'm trying to just go along the shoreline here. It's definitely enough to. Sawtooth briar nearly got me. I like that. Grass holes. Eventually I'll get to the other side, and I'm going to ignore that now because it's so embarrassing. How anybody can let their property go so badly. Okay, I'm saying that. I've only owned this for 5 months. See there, there we go again. Okay. Probably stepping all over them, but I kind of want to tackle this in the worst way. I'm feeling this is going to look just beautiful when it's cleaned up. It'd be nice to also see through it. I mean, it's got some good trees in here. I don't know what species that one is. I guess I'm going to have to wait till the leaves come out, but good and straight. This side needs more help. I'll show you what I've been doing today, though. There's a rose bush in there somewhere, because you can see it's poking its head out. Okay, it's right there. It's going to be an easy one to get. I like easy ones. Got some grapevine. Those are pretty easy. Well, except for when it's really bad like this area. But you can actually get to the stream now through there. And those are all been cut. So this year, this whole mess should mostly be dead vine and native trees. So we kind of see it, nice to see if it kind of self-corrects or something. There's a couple hickories in there I found. There's one over here, and then there's the one I pointed out in the last video right there. But yeah, this is it. I left off in the last video right about here, but I had started to chop this out. The rose bush came out to where you see the dirt here, and still there's like a lot of rose branches in there, but not too worried about them. And then there was still a lot of Japanese honeysuckle tied up in the tree here, and I still want to get back in here and do a little bit more cleanup because I can see stuff along the ground here that needs to be taken out. At least it's not in the trees at this point. Yeah, you can see it down there. It's so fascinating to see that the stream disappears. Let's see if I can get down there and show you without dying. Shouldn't joke about that. This is pretty steep. Yeah, it's fairly funny anyway, because this is actually lower than that over there. You can kind of see the stream. It's still flowing here, and still flowing there, and then just disappears. Crazy, huh? Let's go see where it picks up. That's pretty. I mean, it's moist in here. Oh, look at that. That's probably a vine. It's probably a vine sprout. I'm gonna have to get used to seeing those and know my plants better. Got some great rocks through here. Let's look at that one right there. And some slick rocks. Okay, we're looking for where the riverbed picks up. Isn't this wild? It's completely out of here. Oh yeah, this rock is huge. Isn't that amazing? There's no water here. I bet you if I put my ear to the ground I could hear it. Tree branch got me. Twisted me about. Wild. I'm just so surprised. I mean, it's moist. If you listen carefully, I'm wearing a knee brace. Huh, that's a really interesting rock. They're all interesting if you give them time. I'm wearing a knee brace. It's got a squeak to it, so several times today I was working and I kept hearing this chirping sound. And I kept looking around. It was chirping at me. It's my own knee brace. This is thick through here. Let's try to cut through. It's a lot easier to do this kind of trudging through the woods when you're on your jacket. Tell you what I'm going to do though. See, this is where it's nice that I cleared through here. Couldn't normally get through here. You can still see some of the vines hanging in here and there. Wow. Okay, I can see some water down there. Oh, look at that. Little tiny buds. There's barely any water flowing through that. So it picked up somewhere right about there. Right about where the bridge is going to be at. And what I'm aware of is there's like a spring beauties. There's a couple springs down there. And I bet if we went down there, geez, we'll walk through a whole area of spring beauties and little tiny ferns. And more spring beauties. And more of them. They're all over the place. So the water disappeared, came back out. And I know if I go, like, look right there, there's a spring coming right out of the rocks right there. You can hear something running through the woods. It's pretty exciting. Things are starting to get buds. Soon I'll be able to identify half these trees. This one here is a thorny ash tree, also called the Devil's Walking Stick. Native host plant of the giant swallowtail butterfly. That was, if you've been watching my videos, you know that from the previous video. Or you knew it on your own before I ever said it, because I didn't know it for very long. So you'll see that, like, this is facing north, roughly. There's the cattle guard with that little 50 foot or 100 foot, whatever it is, probably 100 feet. Entry into the property, stream. So, cattle guard, telephone pole. That's 40 acres back there. And then this is the start of 80 acres, and I've got another 40 back there. L shape. So right as you come into the property, you'd come up to this point. I think these are viceroys? I don't know. So not a butterfly I'm not familiar with, but these are, I'm going to try to zoom in for you. There's minerals to be had. And with just a little bit of moisture, they do really well with it. They like it. So they're admirals or viceroys or something like that. So there's a whole big bunch of them. We're not going to disturb them. They're really nice butterflies. Anyway, that's where I'm gonna build and live, hopefully in the near future. Yeah, if you know anything about construction, those guys that put the anchor bolts in, put them too close to the edge. I think they might work. I don't know. Wish they would have thought about what the hell they were doing, but not everybody does. Ideally, the anchor bolts should be half the width of your studs, and then the thickness of your sheeting, like OSB at 5/8 of an inch. So, say you're doing 2x6 framing, which is really 5.5, then you're, 2 3/4 plus 5/8 of an inch, and that's where your studs, your anchor bolts should be. But it didn't, so I don't know if that's gonna, I think I can use them, but I'm probably gonna have to add some others. Just too close to the edge. In fact, I'm a little worried some of them are gonna be way too close to the edge. Might have to cut them off. But they did a great job on the rest of the slab. The anchor bolts are the only big issue. There's 3 methods for putting anchor bolts in. There's one that's got a sleeve in it expands in the hole. There's another one, it's a bolt that's designed to thread into a hole, and it's designed for working specifically with concrete. And of course the old-fashioned method, which is the anchor bolt embedded in the concrete, which is what we were trying to do. So there's backups, you know. It's not the end of the world. Just hate having to redo something. It's supposed to rain today, which we can use it. I'm not going to bore you with it, but I might walk up there and check on the frogs, the tadpoles, and make sure they're doing all right. All right. Happy Sunday. See ya.